I started learning to play the guitar when I was in college. I had been in marching band in high school and played the trumpet, but I also like to sing, and it's kind of hard to accompany yourself with a trumpet when you're trying to sing. So in college I started to learn to play the guitar. Once I got out of college with my engineering degree and had a little bit of money, I started looking into getting a better guitar than the old beater I had when I was in college. And I started looking at the typical Martins and Taylors and things of that nature. And that was about the time I discovered Phil Keaggy and really started getting into his music. And knowing that he played a guitar built by Dell Langens over on the west side of our state, I took a trip over and played my first hand-built guitar. And that guitar really blew me away. My brother-in-law suggested that I build my own guitar. He had seen some of the furniture I had built and knew of my woodworking skills, and so I started entertaining the idea, got some books to read and looked into a bunch of guitars and decided to give it a try. And once I built the first guitar, I was hooked. When you hear that music coming out of that box that you've built, it's kind of a special thing. Now, I look back at that first guitar, and there was a lot of room for improvement there, but it really was addictive, and that's how I got started.
Look at this man, what didn't he have? What let him down this treacherous path? Watching his life slip through his hand, and once in a while he understands.
Engineering had its rewards. It was a good paying job. It had benefits. There were many times when I really enjoyed what I was doing. I have a number of patents from my work at Delphi Automotive, and it was a difficult decision to move away from that security to build guitars. But I knew that in engineering I really wasn't going to go any further than where I was, because I don't have a passion to be a manager and to move into that position. But I did have this passion for building instruments.
Could I see you? Could I see me in the face of this man? We're just too blind to see.
One of the real blessings I think that came my way was meeting Michael Card, contemporary Christian musician, more known as a singer-songwriter than as a guitar player, but he's a very accomplished guitar player and pianist and harpist, and plays the mandolin and banjo, a lot of instruments. He was kind enough to take a look at my guitars, encouraged me. Within about a year or so, I had built a guitar that he then started using on tour. He also suggested that I go talk to Jim Olson. He knew Jim Olson. He played in Olson, and I figured that probably Jim wouldn't have any reason to let me come up to his shop, so Michael gave him a call and asked him if I could come visit, and I did. I got to spend a day in his shop looking at all his jigs and fixtures. He was finishing about 35 guitars at that time, and they were just incredible. They just blew me away, and seeing what he did was really an inspiration, and he's been very kind to answer questions for me from time to time over the years, and it's been a real blessing.
Of the year of Jubilee, say Jubilee, Jubilee.
The real passion for me in building is to build the most precise guitars that I can, and along with the precision, which gives you good aesthetics and it gives you good playability, then there's the tone aspects. So those two are the keys. And I'm very precise with all my fixturing, my setup. My side bends are all very, very accurate. My neck work and fret work all has to be very precise. My tone woods come from suppliers that I've worked with that know what my requirements are. They know that I'll send them back stuff if I get it and it's not up to my standards. And so I've developed those kind of relationships. Having built on this foundation of having a very precise built guitar and one that's very playable and one that's got great tone, then you have to work with the individual customer. What are their needs? What do they need for tone woods, for the style of playing that they do? What kind of setup and action are they going to be looking for? It's then a matter of working with the customer to define that guitar for them. I would rather have the customer telling his friends what a great guitar it is. I mean, that means something. If I sit here on camera and I say, this is the greatest guitar that's ever been built, what does that mean? It means nothing coming from me. So, you know, it's just a matter of getting enough guitars out there that enough people have them in their hands, and then the word will eventually get around. There's only 175 or so of them in existence, and they're spread out across the lower 48 and several foreign countries, so there's quite a few miles between them. You don't run into one very often. But you know, let the customer speak.